So, Sage Steele is suing ESPN following comments she made about the you-know-what and how she was treated for it. Now, I am not a Sage Steele fan because she doesn't consider herself part of the black family. She calls herself biracial, and she does not consider herself black because she has a white mother. Even though biblically, it's the father who determines who you are in terms of your race, your tribe, so forth. But that's here nor there. But as much as I'm not a fan of Sage Steele, I gotta say, she has a valid point. Let's get into it. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I know it was pretty warm over the weekend in New York City. And no, I stayed my ass inside because I chose to. But I was doing some uploads on my other channel and building that review channel up. So now I'm going to talk about Sage Steele on the main channel. So according to New York Post, it reads, Sage Steele suing ESPN over treatment following vaccine mandate comments. Sage Steele, a star of Sports Center, anchor for ESPN, is suing the network and parent company Disney over the circumstances surrounding her being sidelined late last year. In the lawsuit, Steele alleges she was retaliated against over comments she made about the company's vaccine mandate on Jay Cutler's podcast last September, violating both her contract and her right to free speech. Joe Flint of the Wall Street Journal first reported on the lawsuit. Sage remains a valued contributor on some of ESPN's highest profile content, including the recent Masters telecast, anchoring our noon Sports Center, and the ESPN spokesperson said in a statement, as a point of fact, she was never suspended. A source with knowledge of ESPN told the Post that Steele will remain on air amid the lawsuit. Her contract is not up for a while, in quotations. A second source said, I work for a company that mandates it, and I had until September 30th to get it done or I'm out, Steele told Cutler, a former NFL quarterback who spent much of his 12 years playing career with the Bears. I respect everyone's decision. I really do. But to mandate it is sick. And it's scary to me in many ways, Steele said. I'm not surprised it got to this point, especially with Disney. I mean, a global company like that. The lawsuit filed in Connecticut alleges that Steele was benched by ESPN for her remarks and that the company forced her to apologize. In a knee-jerk reaction, ESPN and Disney relied on the misleading characterizations of her comments, bowed to groupthink, and forced Steele to publicly apologize and suspended her for a period of time in October 2021, the suit says. The suit further alleges that ESPN disciplined Steele based on inaccurate third-party accounts of Steele's comments, and that the network did not immediately review the actual comments or the context in which they were made. While Steele would have been off air for a given amount of time after testing positive for the woohoo, the suit says the company used the word sideline and taking a break to describe her on-air absence and refers to these words as euphemisms for a suspension. The suit points to various stories in the press that refer to Steele as being suspended and said ESPN did nothing to rebut the widespread reports apologize, I had to sneeze. Widespread reports that it has suspended or otherwise disciplined Steele for her comments, both because those reports were true and because ESPN stood to benefit from the public perception that it had punished Steele for her remarks. It also alleges she was retaliated against by losing key assignments and that the network fails to stop colleagues from bullying and harassing her. The suit claims that Steele was removed from assignments such as hosting the NYC Marathon and ESPN Summit, an event she had emceed since 2010. The suit mentions several instances of colleagues criticizing Steele on air or social media. It says that Steele sent ESPN executive Norby Williamson a screenshot of a tweet from Sports Center anchor Nicole Briscoe, who retweeted a post from someone who said she hopes ESPN no longer uses Miss Steele to cover women's sporting events, with Miss Briscoe adding, "Amen. Even if it gets me in trouble. Amen." The suit claims that the tweet remains up 3 months later. Ryan Clark, a former Steelers player, allegedly refused to appear on air with Steele and, according to the suit, was not disciplined. ESPN violated her free speech rights, retaliated against her, reprimanded her, scapegoated her, allowed the media and her peers to excoriate her, and forced her to apologize simply because her personal opinions did not align with Disney's corporate philosophy of the moment. Her attorney, Brian Friedman, said in a statement, "Sage is standing up to corporate America to ensure employees don't get their rights trampled on or their opinions silenced." The suit claims ESPN violated Connecticut law and Steele's rights to free speech based upon faulty understanding of her comments and non-existent, unenforced workplace policy that serves as nothing more than pretext. The lawsuit claims that Steele notified company HR of their wrongdoings this past February and followed up with the letter from attorneys. Tellingly, after months of defendants withholding prime hosting assignments from Steele as punishment, when they received a complaint in attorneys' letters, they promptly offered her the assignment of co-hosting coverage at the Masters tournament in a blatant admission of liability and an obvious scheme to try to dodge responsibility. The suit says, Steele, 49, has worked at ESPN since 2007. She currently co-hosts the noon edition of Sports Center with Matt Berry. She has previously anchored NBA Countdown and the Scripps National Spelling Bee. So I'm going to tell you, I don't know all the gist of her losing her assignments, why she lost them. Whether she's telling the truth on that or not has to do with the you-know-what. I can't say. Maybe they wanted to get other people. But when it comes to them sidelining her or benching her because of her freedom of speech, because she was just questioning the mandates and how she felt that they were a violation of, people's freedom of choice, their rights, I 100% agree that they did that. I believe they suspended her. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it was going on all over the world, particularly in the U.S. around that time. Around that time, the late summer, fall of last year, honey, they were getting rid of everyone left and right who would not comply. Now, I'm not a fan of Sage Steele because I told you how I feel about her sentiments according to how she identifies, And some of the things that I've seen her do, like she let certain people touch her hair, I wasn't cool with that. But I gotta say, when you're being sidelined and you're being attacked because you're just questioning, hey, I want to know what's going on. Why is there a need for such and such? You gotta really think about that for a moment. And it's a problem when you're being accused of being a bad person for just questioning why you want me to do something. This is why people like DeSantis are gaining traction and gaining fans, because you have people who are against being told what to do. And they feel that their rights are being violated. So they're going with people like DeSantis, who I think he's a fascist. I kind of think he's a fascist. But because you have one group of people who, for the first time in history, mandated something, even though it's not law. But because it was, you do this or you lose that. You do this or you don't have this or that anymore. It put people in a bind. And because of it, this is what it's come to. Now, I believe Sage got it. I believe she eventually got it because she's still working for them. But she just questioned, why is it mandated? That's all I want to know. Now, I say this. Do as you feel was best for you. Okay? But don't tell people what to do was best for them. Because then what you get is people rising to the top of the ranks who ideologies are nutty as a fruitcake, if you know what I mean. Because they'll be against it. They'll look like a hero. They will be promoted like a hero. And then a whole weird stuff will follow. And you will really lose your rights. Really lose your freedom to be able to say something. So when it comes to Sage Steele's lawsuit, I agree that's what they did to her. And there's a lot of lawsuits coming like this. And there's more to come. And I'm going to say this. I'm not going to monetize this video. Because speaking out against like mandates or even the inkling of it, they're not going to monetize it. So I'm not going to apply. I'm not going to have it set up for monetization. But if you would like to basically support my channel in any way, you can subscribe. You can like. You can comment. You can share. And my Cash App is $ Bella Champagne 15. I have a new Cash App. I'll tell you about that later on down the line. Probably over the summer as to why it's a new one. But yeah, because they're not going to support this. I can tell you that. So with that being said, it's your girl, Miss Ann Little Cole. I'm signing off. I'll be back shortly for another commentary. And take care and have a great day or night. Later.